Welcome, everybody, to Broadcast Team Alpha, where we bring you cutting-edge conversation while exploring the quantum possibilities. And we're really going to do it again tonight. I'm so excited for our guest. We're starting the show on time, but Ishmael's going to be just a little bit late, but we're just going to go on and wait for him to arrive. So before we get started, before Augie introduces Ishmael, I want to invite you to the membership community. The membership community is specialized content that's made just for the community. You guys get to see certain things that we'll put out before everybody else gets it. And then we have meetings, we have get-togethers. So you guys can come and talk with us. And we want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, what you'd like to see on the show. And we want to get to know each other. So you can join the membership community. The link will be in the chat here. And we did have our first get-together last Wednesday. So just be on the lookout. If you are already an exclusive member, you'll get an email for the days that we are going to meet live. Augie, I know Ishmael's not here yet, but let's talk about him behind his back.
Yeah, that'd be good. I do want to say a few things about him, though, because I'm expecting him to be here. Ishmael Perez is a Galactic ambassador, and he is a historian. Now, that is Galactic historian. And he's an author of a book that I'm sitting looking at right here, Our Cosmic Origin. It is a phenomenal book. I read fairly fast, but I'm not very fast on this one because I have to go back and reread things that is really interesting. And I think you're going to have the same sensations once you get in it, because it's written on so deep a level of consciousness that you got to think. And that's a good thing. Anyway, he deals with galactic history, where we come from, our celestial cosmic beginning. Yes, there was a beginning. And he is an awakened starseed and helped mankind raise to higher levels of consciousness. He's a teacher of a course also that when he gets here, I want him to talk to you about that, because that's a good one. And I would say that I was texting with him, and he said that he was going to be late, so we're just going to have to find something to talk about in the meantime. If anybody out there have been in California traffic, you probably will understand, because you are hurrying along at 6 miles an hour, and that's not uncommon. And I know, because I've done that. So, yeah, it is that bad sometimes. Mm-hmm. I have written down a bunch of really good questions for Ishmael. And some of them really esoteric about what happens after we drop the body. Where do we go? What's going on out there that we can't see? Or even what is in our galactic history? Where did it start? We know that we found a fossilized human skeleton in rock that was 600 million years old. So I know we've been here for a while. Mm-hmm. And now...
Well, also, Augie, he's an ultra super soldier in the secret space program. So I would love to get to know him and get to know that aspect of his life and how that happened for him, how that comes about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people say, well, the super soldiers, we don't have any evidence of that. Well, of course you don't. What in the world do you think they would release that information to you for? No, They're not going to do that. We have a program called the Solar Warden, That is actually the name for the secret space program, where it's been around for quite a while. And then people say, yeah, sure, how do we know? Well, we do know, because in 2013, on the Citizens' Hearing of Disclosure, one of the people that is in charge of that part of the government, he said, we have a space force. It's in existence. It's there. And that was by Senator Mike Gravel. So we know it's existing. And so then we wonder also, how can we finance something like that? Well, here's a little tidbit that may you can put it in your pipe and smoke it. It's on 9/12/2001, the Secretary for the Defense came on TV and he said that we are missing $3 trillion out of the military budget and we don't know where it went.
Mm-hmm. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, gosh, they must have gone down the drain somewhere. But now the numbers are different. $3 trillion 20 years ago. Now there are some accountants for the military that is coming out saying, no, it's not 3 trillion anymore. We are over 20 trillions now. With $20 trillion, you can perfectly well create a secret space force.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I want to do a shout out to Margaret. Margaret, thank you for the super chat. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. We love you too. So if you guys have just joined us, Ishmael is going to be a little bit late. So we're talking about him behind his back. When we were just talking about the secret space program, and Augie was highlighting how much money is missing out of the defense fund, and like cryptically missing, like people don't know where the money went, and to the tune of how much? 20 trillion?
By now, it's over $20 trillion.
Yeah. So we could probably start a secret space. We could fund a secret space program with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. And another thing that came out about close to 20 years is there was a guy over in England that he hacked into the NASA computer. Now, this was Gary McKinnon. He hacked into the NASA computer. He was looking for UFOs and evidence of extraterrestrials. And he found some stuff. And he found free energy. And he found the secret U.S. Space Battalion. He said there were more than 10 ships. And he was doing this so fast because he had to get in and get out really fast. So he didn't remember all the names, but he remembered 2 of them. Now, one of them was USS LeMay, and the other one was USS Hillenkotter. And he found about 30 names that was listed as non-terrestrial officers.
Cool.
Yeah, where were they from?
Mm-hmm.
Non-terrestrial officers. We are working with the aliens and the secret space program, folks. We've done that a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They are working with the tall whites. I have a video somewhere on my computer where I can see a tall white inside the cargo bay of the space shuttle. How do I know that's a tall white? Well, it's because they're 9 foot tall. And that spacesuit was about 9 foot long, contrary to other spacesuits in the cargo bay at the same time. That was about 6. So yeah, we're just kind of setting the base here for Ishmael coming on and maybe confirming some of this. This sounds pretty far out, but it is verifiable. And the reason I'm covering this right now is because if you think that this is a little far out there, wait until Ishmael gets here.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a lot more knowledge. And I have some questions for him about even going all the way back to the so-called Big Bang. Mm-hmm. I want him to explain that Big Bang, because I don't think there was a Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
And quantum mechanics has pretty much gotten around to the point now so that the Big Bang theory is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a beginning.
Right.
And I can think of no one better than Ishmael to explain that beginning, because that's what I'm calling spiritual.
Okay. Explain that.
Well, if there was no Big Bang, science, Newtonian science has worked up this great theory, and they called it the Big Bang. Right. And they say that all the matter in the universe was compressed down to the size of a green pea. And then it exploded.
You would think.
Spread out through the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with that.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of compression.
Yeah.
To the size of a green pea, it has no choice but to explode, right?
Yeah, and I like green peas, but that's impossible technically, because if it was matter, you can't really compress that to that level.
Interesting.
It just doesn't fly. But if there was a beginning, that was quantum mechanics also say that we have a mind-created universe. So maybe the beginning was mind-created, and a thought came in here, and he was wondering, what can I create? And then he started replicating himself into more mind-created structures, creations. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I think Ishmael's going to run with that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not our first super soldier. I mean, the first super soldier we interviewed was several years ago. We interviewed Captain Randy Kramer, and we've had him on 2 more times after that. And of course, there's Elena Danaan. She's a huge galactic historian, and just her work is unparalleled. Yeah.
And then we got to also remember that back in 1978, Ben Rich, that was the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, he made a statement in an interview, and he said, we already have the means to take E.T. home. And travel among the stars, but the technologies are locked up in black projects, and it will take an act of God to ever get them out to benefit humanity. So that was in 1978.
Well, do you remember when we did a show back when Tom was with us? We did a series called On My Planet. Do you remember when we did that?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember that title. Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about what it was like on our planet, the other planet that we were on.
Yeah.
And we talked about the time when you got into a war with like crazy insectoid beings and lost your leg. And we had to put you in the med bed to regenerate your leg. You guys, you need to go back. We had so much fun. You have to go back and check out that. I don't know. We may have done 4 of them. It was called On Our Planet. And who knows where that content came from for us.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. We may have to go down to the bottom in the shows on Broadcast Team Alpha and have a look at that one.
Yeah, we'll have to. You know what? Maybe we could find that specific one, the one where we talked about you got into a fight. Well, of course, there was a war going on anyway,
Yeah.
and you lost your leg. Yeah, yeah. You know what? We should have Tom on. We should have Tom come on. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it would.
That would be fun. Yeah. So, let's just talk about this. So it's not. A pea under the mattress. Nancy mentioned that Elena and Ishmael are not in alignment with their information, and they're not. And I remember seeing a statement, and I just did law of attraction with it. I chose not to give any life to it, right? There's enough universe and there's enough quantum realm out there for all of us, right? So we're probably not going to talk about the differences, but just to be transparent, yes, that exists. That exists. Yeah. Yeah,
and the universe is so big. There are trillions of worlds out there. And another question that I had for Ishmael was, what about the worlds and the societies and civilizations that did exist, but they started developing AI and robots to serve them? And the robots get a little too smart. They do away with the humans. And now there are whole planetary systems that only thing there is AI.
Do you know that for a fact? Do you know that for a fact?
I don't know where they are because I don't think there has any date stamp or that away signs to it. But
do you know that that's true? Do you know that that's actually fact? You do?
That was definitely, was one of the things I had interest in. So it was brought out in my download that I could see the humanoid probably. They looked a little different, but they were destroyed by AI. And now there's only AI people there. So it's not uncommon. It's just that we have to make sure it doesn't get to that here.
Exactly. Right.
We have to know our limitations and AI's limitation.
Right. But we have galactic benevolence that are willing to help us if it comes to that, right? So that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would think so. Because we're on the good side, so to speak, and I'm not so sure that AI is on the good side. It's only technology.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked me one time if a robot can have a soul. At the time, I didn't know what to tell him.
Mm-hmm. What do you think now?
I'm thinking it might be possible.
Really? That's interesting. Don't know.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough one for me. That's a tough one. So let's just think about this for a minute. I'm going to change the subject. 3 years ago, just 3 short years ago, You, me, and Tom were tap dancing around disclosure, right? Tap dancing around disclosure. And now look where we are.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what it's going to look like in 3 more years or in just a year? Because a lot of expedited information is going to be forthcoming.
Yeah. Yeah, we see the videos, we have the testimonies, and it's all out there. The only thing left is the government confirming that, yeah, we've had it, but we did it for your best and for your own good. We try to protect you. Yeah, like they say in the South, my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do a shout out to the chat room. Let's see who's here. Crazy Horse. Hi, Margaret. Faith Inspired is here. Hey, Lynn. Nancy, of course, is here. Our famous moderator. Earth Mama is here. Hello. And Paradox Fossils. Hello, welcome. Fernando. Hi, Fernando. Good to see you. Elena is here. Yay. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Count Chocula. Love your name. Love your name. Hello. Good to have you. A documentary brought me here. I'm trying to remember what one. That would be nice to know. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to have you. Marius is here. Hi, Mars. Zafrius Rasnake is here. Hello. Very nice name. Ryan is here. Hello, Ryan. Or Raven. Sorry. Raven Winters is here. Hi. Good to see you. The Andromedan is here. Lots of cool people. So just be patient with us. Jesse is here. Hey, guys. Count Chocula. Very cute. Yeah, just be patient with us. We're going to be chatting just a little bit more until Ishmael gets here with us. If there's anything you'd like to talk about, just put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can really talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Put a question in and see if you can stump us. That'd be great.
Well, see if you can stump Augie.
Oh, you.
He's the computer brain here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask him about life after death and, how that perception of it would be once we drop the body, because we know there is something afterwards. We have the videos of ghosts. Right. We have the voice recordings. We have the physical evidence of aberrations, like people getting scratches on their body and there's nobody there to do the scratch.
Right.
Or ectoplasm, which was analyzed and they can't figure out what it is.
Right.
So we know there's something there. And there are people that has actually claimed to have proven that there's something leaving the body at the moment of death. In I think it was 1901 possibly. There was a doctor named Duncan MacDougall. He found 6 people that was diagnosed with terminally ill cancer. Well, I mean, with cancer being terminally ill. And he took them and put them in a bed, put the bed on sensitive industrial scales so that they was monitoring them 24/7, constantly. Whenever they drank something, the weight of the bed increased slightly. When they ate something, same thing. And then when they died, slightly after, within seconds, the bed suddenly became about 21 grams, which is about 3/4 of an ounce lighter. Mm-hmm. And this happened for every one of them. Mm-hmm. There's 6 people that became 21, or some was a little more, like 25 gram lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. McDougall, he looked at that and he said, hey, look here, I have proven that the soul leaves the body. Well, something left the body. But the soul is entirely non-physical spiritual energy. It cannot have weight. But the astral vehicle has, I wouldn't call it weight, but it probably is the effect of weight because it has an affinity to the earth.
Mm.
An astral traveler will tell you that if you go out there and stay in one constant spot, you'll find yourself slowly, very slowly sinking down towards the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's that affinity. So when Dr. McDougall saw them get 21 grams lighter, I am totally convinced that was the astral vehicle that left the body.
Mm-hmm.
But he proved that something left the body. So it isn't just, bones and hands.
I've seen it, as a hospice nurse, I've seen multiple times an emanation of, because the room was dark, an emanation of light, like a whoosh of light that appeared to leave the body. And I've seen that several times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen that gray substance leave once also from an elderly man here in this house.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there is something leaving. And when they leave, they take all the memories with them, even in the astral vehicle. The astral vehicle has no memory, has no intelligence of its own, but it only operates from memory. So whatever you remember, that stays with you in the astral vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to ask you this. Why do you think, what about Ishmael do you think is that he's a good person to talk to about afterlife or what happens? Why do you think he's
here?
What in that book are you referring to?
He talks, I haven't read the whole book yet because I keep going over it, but he talks about things like this, and he talks about things that happens afterwards, and it was very interesting. So I wanted him to elaborate on that. Mm-hmm. Because there is really interesting things that happens after we drop the body. Because we leave here going into another reality with amnesia again. We don't really remember where we came from. We have to be re-educated. And I remember that was between this incarnation and a previous one where I was standing at, it looks like a pool, but it was more like a table, but there was a pool. Mm-hmm. And in there, I was presented with probably 3, maybe 4 different life situations. And it was explained to me. And it was a very short explanation because everything was downloaded. So it came with full understanding. They didn't have to go through every word in linear form. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a snap, and I understood the life, what it was going to be like. Right. And then now, when I was standing there, I remember picking this one.
Picking
this lifetime, this life situation.
You remember picking this life, or you got that in a download?
I picked this life, and this place where I was going to be born into in Norway, and I picked it all just up to now, and I don't understand really why I picked it. That, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had known some of the stuff that happened, I probably wouldn't.
Many of us wonder why we've picked, the parents, the situation, yeah, the existence that we chose here. And I think that's normal. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
normal. So
But I
everybody in the
remember,
chat room, do you think that we pick our parents and pick our life? Let us know in the chat room if you do.
yeah, that'd be good because I I remember the choice, and right after the choice was done,
You were like, no,
things
I
happened.
changed my mind.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
I don't want that one.
Gonna get off the train. But things happened very quick after that. And I remember in my mind, I said, well, I better get down there and get to it. That was a paraphrase, but that's what I told myself. And from there on, I don't remember anything because that's when it started happening, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
We,
That's when you were in experience mode.
we do have choices.
We do have choices.
Yeah, and I think that for the ones that find themselves in a situation like this, get 3 or 4 different life situations presented to them, you have a choice. The one was going to be really easy. Everything will work your way and everything will be good, just about everything you do. Then you have one that is a little difficult, and another one that is quite a bit harder than that, but you will learn more. And then one probably that is going to have a lot of hardships in it, but you're going to be stronger than steel when you're done with it. You have learned so much. Okay, Ishmael said 7 minutes away. Okay.
Well, that's great. So, what do you think the benefit of having a life of strife and turmoil and ending up very strong? What is the benefit of that?
I don't know, Nori. Maybe.
You don't know.
What do you think?
I think there are spiritual benefits. I think there are karmic benefits. Pixie, no barking. Sorry, guys. Yeah, well, that's great. I'm so happy he's on his way.
Yeah, he's a coming.
So the few people that responded said yes, they think that we pick our purpose. That's good. We pick our experience and our parents. And that's a little bit about what my book is about. Did you ever read my book, Augie? Did I send it to you?
No.
No? Okay. Anyway, let's see. So Michael said, I was asked to be this person because this person I am would be the only person that would make contact with someone, and this person I am would be the only one that would try to help her. Okay, so like a mission, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Raven said, then I remember hope and the bigger picture. Jesse said, why doesn't Pixie get to talk about her viewpoint? Yeah. Because all she's talking about is people in the hall or biscuits. So I don't know how interesting it would be.
Yeah.
That's not true. Pixie is an advanced being. She probably does have great ideas.
Yeah, I bet half of them involves snacks.
Yeah. So I bought her, this is just a sidebar, guys. I bought her these they're paw-shaped buttons, if you will, and you record your voice into them. So one says, want to get down. One says, want to eat. So those are the only 2 that we're working with because she's always on the bed. So I'm working with her to press the button, and then it says, want to eat, and then she gets a treat. And tonight was the first time that she almost did it by herself. So I'm hoping that this will open up a whole new communication. I've seen dogs online that are so specific in their communication. Of course, their owners, got them like 50 different buttons, and the dog knows where they are and which one it is, but their communication is so much expanded. So,
Wow.
So maybe we can get her to come on, Jesse, with her buttons once the Survivor Pixie, once she has a big vocabulary. Maybe she knows about disclosure. She probably was in the secret space program.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be good. But I also wanted to talk to Ishmael about underwater civilizations.
Oh, now I'm with you on that. You know, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good, because I know they're down in the Caribbean.
Are they? Well, of course, they get to pick where they go. Of course, they chose the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Why do you know they're in the Caribbean? How do you know that?
Well, in 1974, I was teaching flying in Greencastle, Indiana. I became a good friend with an airline captain with Allegheny Airline at the time. And he said he flew charter flights from U.S. down into the Caribbean. And when he went at night, when the moon was not out and there was a high overcast, he could see there's two places in the ocean where there was big blobs of light, and there was a string going between two of them.
A string?
And, kind of like a string of light. And then, and he said that he knew where they were, but he had talked to the dispatcher about it, and they told him, don't even talk about it. So evidently they know that there's something down there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just one place. I bet there are a lot of those places around the world.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
And you wonder, who
Huh?
are they?
Who are they? I know some of them are Pleiadian. I know that.
Yeah. I think so too. All right. Well, he should be here any second, so we'll just hang out with us guys and be a little patient. And I know you didn't come here to listen to Nori and me, but it's going to be here shortly.
Mm-hmm. And once he gets here, we're going to go late so that we can, get all of the benefit of his presence and his information. Marius said, I was rescued by mer beings, like long silver beings. Interesting, Mars. You should come on and talk to us about that. Very cool. Why were you rescued? That's interesting. Were you drowning? Or interesting? Aw, Jessie said we love Pixie. She loves you too. BTA mascot. Doo-doo-doo. Right? She's only interested in what's out the window right now because she's being her 4-pound wolf. Aw. Yeah. Interesting, Mars. You could tell us more. So, why are you interested in knowing that there are civilizations under the water? What is it about that intrigues you?
Yeah, because in a lot of different places off the California coast also, you see ships coming out of the water and taking off and poof, going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A poof, exactly. It's like that poof. Gone. Gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marius said, falling down the wall in St. Croix while scuba diving Sucked down. Wow. So you got saved by mer beings. Wow. What a blessing. That's magical. It's magical, Mars. Very cool. Very cool. I'm going to tell my story one day. I've leaked it out a couple of times, but then retracted it because that was before everybody was telling their story. Now I think it's a lot more comfortable. You know, the climate is favorable for sharing experiences now. You know, back in the day, they would just think you're crazy and, you know, want to put you on psych meds. Yeah.
And now there's a lot of people are coming out with their own stories that is sometimes really boozoo out of whack, whatever that is. It's just strange. But they swear up and down that, yes, that happened to me.
Well, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, when it comes to the paranormal, we can expect just about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't discard anything.
In the beginning, when we first started BTA, we were interviewing experiencers, like almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to their stories, even though it sounds really far out, you know, there's an aspect of them. You see the emotion, you see how it's changed their life. And for many people, it didn't change it favorably. You know, families that were very religious, and now the husband had an experience with extraterrestrials. You know, the people in their particular religion thought he was possessed, and you know, it ruined his life. So, Margaret said her dog is deaf, and our dog knew every toy by name. What a cool dog, Margaret. Doesn't surprise me that that's your dog. So BG almost got sucked down there too. I was sinking rapidly. Look at all of the experiences here. Very cool. Very cool. I think we should, well, we're so booked right now, but I was going to say we should start interviewing experiencers again, but we may have to do a separate show for that because we're so booked. Yeah.
Yep, that'll be all right.
Very interesting.
Well, the 7 minutes are just about up, so he should be here.
Like little kids waiting for Christmas.
Yeah.
Did Santa come? Did you believe in Santa in Norway when you were little?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did? You did?
Yeah.
What did you get? Like farming equipment? Did you get that for Christmas?
No.
No? What, you got toys and stuff?
I don't even remember. It's just junk, you know. Oh, gosh. No, Christmas was a big thing back there. I remember having a Christmas tree every year, and there was in the early days, before electric lights, we actually had little candles that we put on the branches.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a fire hazard.
Yeah, we managed not to burn the place down even because
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So you only lit them when you were like having a festive moment, right? You didn't leave them lit.
Yeah, there was. It was just for maybe we lit them up for an hour and then we turned them off again. You know.
Well, I was talking to someone today that said that the best Christmas experience is somewhere in Germany, and I know you're probably not going to believe with that because you don't like Germany, but they said that there's some town there that does like a really old-fashioned, magical kind of Christmas. I think that would be interesting to go to. Yeah. So in 1974, you were teaching people how to fly, and I was still in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're both old now, so.
Yeah,
So.
I was fresh out of flight school.
Wow. Jesse said, I heard his DNA was chosen. Do we all select DNA? Or okay, so they're talking about somebody that I missed. I missed something here. Sorry, guys. This is very cool. Oh, Raven said she was fascinated about the interview about fairies and Bigfoot. More content about that. I would love to do a show about mermaids and mer beings now that Mars brought that up. That's a great idea. Let's put the intention out for somebody who could come talk with us on that. That would be awesome. Bavaria, Germany. Is that it, Nance? Really? Aw, let's all go. Let's all go. We'll get in Augie's private jet. We'll go.
That jet went. I don't have that one anymore.
Oh, okay. We'll have to get you another one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys are talking about Ishmael. Okay. I heard his DNA was chosen. Do we all select DNA, or was his? Yeah, that's a great question. Bring that up again. Mars said Ishmael was talking about how he was created at different times. That was definitely one of the questions that we're going to talk to him about tonight. You know, how this came about for him, because, you know, how do you have a life that looks in air quotes, right? That looks somewhat normal in the beginning, but it really isn't, right? On the other side of that. Right. I'd love to hear how that happened. Nancy said there's a famous nativity play held every year. Aw, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yeah. Are you texting with him?
Yeah. So now he says project. Okay. He wants the link to his email. That is Project Mac. Can you do that?
We can't say it. No. Don't put his email out on the air. Right?
Okay.
Can you, in the personal chat, not in the group chat, in Zoom chat, Og?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just bear with me here, folks. He evidently didn't see it in
oh, so he doesn't have the link. Is that it?
Messenger.
All right, guys. If you need to get something to drink before he gets here, now's the time. If you need to get a snack, get some gummy bears. Very cool. Oh, good. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Where did I learn that?
Project is the first part of it.
Yep. So Nancy asked, Nori, where did you learn light language? You know, it just happened. It just happened. I think, if I can remember correctly, I think back when I was in Christy Whitman's Quantum Success Coaching Academy, it wasn't just a coaching academy. Our instructor, my beloved instructor and Reiki master, Evelyn Apostolou, they would take us on journeys, so it wasn't just about learning, didactic life coaching principles. It was a spiritual opening. It was a cosmic opening. And I believe they had taken us on some kind of a guided imagery on a journey, and I opened to it, and I began speaking it privately. I mean, for a very, very long time, because, I didn't want to talk about my experience. I wasn't going to come out with my light language. And even now, it's very sacred. It's like a prayer. It's like a deep, solemn prayer. So I only speak it in the right setting. So thanks for asking that, Nance. Thank you. Who is Earth Mama? Who is Earth Mama? Is that somebody from Mastermind? Michael said, I was told in November 2011 that I have an anomaly in my DNA. My doc said she'd look into it. When I got back from surgery 6 months later, I went to see her and she was gone. Okay. So, Michael, I love that you're bringing this up. Right. Having been in the medical field for a very long time, there's a part of the medical record that only the doctors and certain high up administrators can see. And I imagine certain alphabet agencies could see it too. I don't know. But how many doctors, how many emergency room doctors, how many family doctors, right, have experienced things with people that were so out there that they just didn't talk about it, right? That's amazing. Very interesting that she was gone. I mean, I know that doctors have to know about MK Ultra, and all of that. Satanic ritual abuse, all of that's coming to light now that people have been, tormented with for such a long time, right? So it doesn't surprise me that that the timeline would support her being gone, But I think if you wanted to pursue it, if you just put that intention out there and really open to it, I'm sure that you could probably get answers now. That's very interesting. Oh, Jackie from Mastermind. Hi, Jackie, Earth Mama. Very cool. So he's coming in. They're just getting the link to him right now. 32 people here right now. Thanks for being here, guys. Hang tight with us. He's coming. He was in California traffic, and I do know how that is. When I did travel nursing in San Diego and then in La Jolla, right? La Jolla was like, La, the angels sang to get me there. But when I drove in, where was I? I was in Thousand Oaks. Then I had to drive to San Diego on a Sunday afternoon. It took, oh my gosh, it took an eternity for me to get there. It was torture. And Augie's right. It was about 6 miles an hour. I mean, and that was, we were going fast there. Traffic was lightening up at 6 miles an hour. So what's happening, Augie? Is he checking his email to come in, or what's happening?
Well, he asked for it, so I told him again to look for it in Messenger also. Okay.
Yay.
All right.
That's great.
Guys.
Hi. Yay.
Sorry for
Hi.
I had an emergency this afternoon, and so that's why it took me almost an hour to get home.
I'm sorry. Thanks. It's okay. It's okay. We were talking about you. The best that we could.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking behind your back.
It's so great to have you here. It's so great. We've asked you about 1,000 questions already. Did you pick up on them, or?
No, my brain was thinking other things. I apologize.
I
Are you talking about telepathically or?
Yeah.
No, I did feel some telepathic, like somebody was trying to reach out to me telepathically, but no,
we're pinging you.
no, I had a lot going in my head on the drive over here, so I apologize for not receiving those messages as well.
It's okay. We're glad you're here. Thanks for being here. So we did.
I apologize for the delay.
Yeah.
Well, you know the saying, you know, good things comes to the ones that wait.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for. Yeah. So Augie introduced you. He read his introduction of you, and I would just like, if I could set the intention, I would just like for you to feel so comfortable with us that we could get to know you, ask you some questions because you are just a wealth of knowledge. And the first question, which I think could be a decent opening question, is how did this happen for you? Right? Did you have what looked like a somewhat normal childhood, but truly you had other things going on behind the scenes? How did that begin for you?
I guess it started when I was a kid. I was able to read people's minds. I was able to pick up on animals' thoughts. I saw that trees, I felt the trees were alive, the plants were alive. So as a kid, I knew everything was conscious, not just humans. And so it all started like that. But I did have a strong religious background. And so for many years, I had to kind of suppress that. And then it wasn't until maybe my late 1920, around the year when I turned 20, that's when I started meditating again for the first time, actually. Not again, but for the first time I started meditating. And that really just kind of brought me back to that connectivity, to that, understanding and intuitive, empathic type of me reading energy again, picking up on the conscious field of every living thing. And then at the same time, I was getting downloads. I was getting, while doing the research, of course, at that point, I was reading tons of material. What inspired me to read was my reawakening at the age of 20. So I started reading a lot of books about everything, the supernatural, ufology, quantum physics, metaphysics, esoteric knowledge, wisdom, mysticism. And so because I was so addicted to information because of my downloads, I was trying to figure out a way to see if there was any confirmation to any of the stuff. I ended up reading many, many books. And so that's how I was able to gather a lot of information. And so I started writing my first book at the age of 25. Wow. And that was published when I was 27. And then shortly after that, I started researching and writing my second book. But the second book, Our Cosmic Origin, which was recently published a little over a year ago, was about a little over 10 years in the making. It took me a long time to, it's just so much information that I was trying to, jam pack in the manuscript. And so when I finished writing it, I knew, I was told that, humanity wasn't ready for this type of information. So it took me so the manuscript sat for about a year or two. And then finally, after a year or two of sitting there, that's after, of course, the big scandal kicked in 2 years ago, right? When everybody was forced to stay in their house. That's when they said, okay, if people are ready now, there's been a huge shift in humanity's consciousness. But my life has always been mysterious. I've had a lot of missing time as a teenager, which indicates that I've been off world. Obviously, I've been involved in some high level, ultra secret, programs, right? That has a lot to do with the alien wars that's been going on in not only our universe, but in other universes. So, coupled with that and my interest and my addiction to understanding and wanting to figure out everything. That's what brings me up to date as to why I understand and have info or knowledge regarding, a lot of stuff beyond this world because of all that. But so yeah, it's a combination of different things.
Thank you. That's good. It gives me insight. How does it come about that you end up in the secret space program as an ultra secret soldier, right? Is that the right word?
Yeah, yes. It's how did that come about? Oh, I started having visions and dreams about 4 years ago. I started having vivid, clear dreams about popping. Okay. So how the dream started is there was about 100 of us, 50 men and 50 women, and we were all in like type of I guess space uniform, and we were all kind of like marching in order to meet inside I guess what they call the hall, in order to receive instructions regarding our missions. And I just remember having glimpses of that, where we would all pump each other up and and prep each other, and then we'd go into our chambers, and then in our chambers they would enhance us genetically to using anywhere to from 45 to 65% of our full genetic material. And then similar to what they show in the movie Captain America, those chambers are real, and they don't use those in Solar Warden. They actually use those in the off-universe programs known as Radiant Guardians. So those are programs that are a little bit more advanced. A lot of those programs were actually off the record, meaning that even within the military industrial complex or the advanced contact of intelligent organization, even within those I guess what are they called, breakaway organizations, right? There is no data regarding some of the missions that we were involved in. So this was like an ultra secret. It's beyond our world, beyond our solar system, and it was beyond our galaxy. So it had to do with other universes. And in these visions, I would also see myself like popping into reality. So after we sat in the hall, which I think was located in one of the moons of Jupiter, and I just remember that there was like a lot of extraterrestrials, a lot of different beings that were part of the hall, that were there sitting in the hall, and they all represented and were part of what was known as the Jupiter Command. And the Jupiter Command, in tandem with or in collaboration with the Rock Confederacy, were the ones that were in charge of this off-world program called Radiant Guardians. And so yeah, it's a visions, dreams. I mean, after collaborating, not after collaborating, but after, being able to watch others' interviews, it just made a lot of sense. Other whistleblowers and stuff, like the big mechanical black spiders. Those are AI technologies that are used heavily in the consumption and the instantaneous takeover of worlds, where they just come up, pop into a world, and they literally like they terraform the entire planet within hours. And I just remember that a lot of our operations in the off-universe program was to help liberate other worlds and other universes from these mechanical spiders. And of course, I come to find out that these mechanical spiders were actually devices or inorganic super weapons that were used by the AI god or the AI collective that every universe has been fighting. And so, that's when I found out that that everything that we watch in Marvel movies or DC movies is actually telling us the truth. The whole concept of the metahumans, X-Men, mutants, all that stuff, genetic enhancements, cyborgs, AI, everything that we would consider sci-fi is real, guys. So it's like, we're living in a world where it's almost like a Truman Show. It's such a false reality in comparison to how things are really, how things really are. In comparison to how things really are, it's almost like we are living in a sci-fi world. Well, within the private sector, yeah, it's totally sci-fi, and yeah, so the writing of my book, it was a huge, I guess, a huge accomplishment for me. It's getting this information to as many people as possible, and luckily, I guess it was meant to be. But it's been reaching a lot of people, and people are loving it. They're activating. They're getting triggers. They're a lot of people say I fill in a lot of the gaps for them, and regarding galactic history, and it just it puts things into perspective. It kind of aligns things with a higher evolution, with a higher order beyond just our world.
Yes. Yes.
I'm wondering now, this AI, if it is unchecked, it is a very fatal technology. There are probably civilizations in space where there were humanoids, and AI came in and did away with the humanoids, and now all is there is AI robots. What can we do to avoid that happening here?
Well, there's you could say that there was already a plan that was initiated billions of years ago, due to time traveling, to correct the situation, to eradicate what they call the cosmic virus, because that's what it is. Yeah, cosmic virus. When you're destroying worlds, galaxies, and even universes, you are considered a cosmic virus, right? And so the plan was to create a super race that would have the best qualities, the best attributes and characteristics of all the advanced celestial races out there. And so the plan was to create a super race by amalgamating and admixing the genes of the most advanced, angelic or celestial races out there. So what I mean by celestial races, I mean by advanced spiritual humans that are already telepathic, telekinetic. They already have these. So what they did is they put the genetic codings of many different, I guess, celestial races. And of course, they were all part of the, they all served as guardians of their realms and whatever particular galaxy or universe they function in. And they put it in one genome, but the whole goal was to start them at 1% because they would be way too powerful. And that explains why, we were degraded to use 4%, because in our original makeup, we were allowed to use at least 10%. And that's when we have the 12 strands all connected and and operating. And so again, due to the Enki Anunnaki function, they downgraded us by disconnecting 10 strands of our DNA. But the original race was up to 12 strands. We were already using 10%. We were already telepathic. We were very psychic. And that was just at 10%. So the whole purpose was to evolve this race slowly and gradually, so that when the shift of the ages, or what they call the new cycle, would begin, that these people would be able to go beyond the 10%, and that explains now the times that we're living in. So now we're at the end result of this experiment in creating this super race that began billions of years ago. We are now culminating that. We're now in completion. So that's what brings us to the presence. As the solution to end the war with AI. So basically, our dormant DNA has been weaponized by the forces of light to destroy the AI upon the activation of our dormant DNA. So they did install some sort of defense mechanism in human beings, which has a lot to do with a genetic coding known as the God source gene, which is the all-powerful gene. No other or alien out there, no celestial, no interdimensional, ultra-dimensional. No one has the capacity that we do, and that's why they all covet us. That's why the guardians protect us, and many races covet us because we are the end result of this experiment, and therefore the solution to end the cosmic virus. And that explains why we're here. So this war against AI is going to be finalized once our dormant DNA comes back online.
Wow. What's that going to be like when our dormant DNA comes back online? That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly like what we see in Marvel. and in DC, like Black Adam, like type of electricity. Some people are going to be able to fly, shoot laser through their eyes. I mean, everyone's going to have different, spiritual gifts or abilities, supernatural abilities. Yeah.
And I've heard you talk a few times, and it may have been older interviews. Are we in the age of Aquarius now? We're in it, right? We're in the beginning of it already. Yeah, is that true?
We're like in the last few milliseconds of the age of Pisces. So we're getting ready to enter the age of Aquarius. But you could say that we're in the cusp, in the sense where those two ages are overlapping. So we're like in a sense where it's like a part of us are already living the fifth dimensional reality, right? We do what we want. We get out, we go out there and we serve others, right? Whether it is through Reiki, whether healing modalities, yoga centers that we open up, whatever. We're helping others, and so that's the cusp, is that, but there's going to be a bifurcation, of course, where it's like one timeline goes one way, and that's when the shift takes place. And based on astrological and planetary alignments, everything's pointing to like maybe the spring of next year. So we're pretty close. We're pretty close, yeah.
Okay. All right. And you spoke to this just before, and it was in the chat room. Somebody mentioned it about your DNA. Was your DNA altered or changed? Or I'm going to try and find the accurate question, but that's the gist of it.
It was enhanced. It was modified.
The altered. Okay. It was modified. That's a normal thing though for secret space program, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
They always pick people that have a high concentration of called mitochondrian powerhouse.
Yes.
Mitochondrian, which is similar to midichlorians, right, in Star Wars, right? and so yeah. I mean, every person that was part of the program was genetically enhanced, but of course they deactivate your genetics when they bring you back to your I guess civilian life.
Interesting.
And they erase.
I know. Sorry, I know Augie has a bunch of questions, so I'm going to try and not hog.
I was wondering too, from the Galactic Council, what is the latest update, or maybe something that we need to know to maybe be able to last through this really tricky time?
Everyone's here, all the fleets that are associated with the councils of light from the various levels of reality, the positive races, they're all here assisting us. So they want us to just know that everything's under control. They are monitoring the electromagnetic flip that is about to take place. So that when the shift takes place, when the stargates open and the good people of the earth are able to shift gradually into the new earth, leaving the wicked behind, of course, the people of the new earth will all of a sudden enter into this beautiful paradisical, heaven-like world. And the earth changes are only going to take place in the third dimension. So they want us to know that, that as long as we're in service to 51%, or as long as we're in service to others 51%, then we should at least be able to go to the fourth dimension. So this time around is different. Unlike the flood and like other, times in the past where there was cataclysms, and only a small remnant survived, this time the whole goal is to take only the good people of the earth and leave the wicked behind. So that's what they call the harvest, So as long as you're not wicked, you should be okay. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
We're all ascending. Every single person is ascending,
Yeah. But we are not the only people on Earth. There are many different races. There are maybe races that don't know anything about this. Well, I'm thinking of the pygmies, they're pretty isolated, and there are maybe people in the Central South American countries that has not been contacted by other people yet. But they're still good people. I don't think that should work against them, should it?
It's not, believe it or not, a lot of those people know about the secret space program, and are we talking about humans or extraterrestrials that are kind of like...
No, humans. Yeah, humans.
Well, this is where the disclosure takes place, we are going to have a huge, massive disclosure pretty soon where things are going to be revealed on a public scale. And, hopefully this is triggered by the solar flash. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for people to understand if their consciousness is not up to date, So I think more than anything, the great solar flash is going to allow people to reach that level of understanding about the different, interdimensional civilizations and the many worlds that exist all around us, including those that are here in the earth, underneath the ocean beds, deep in the center of the earth, underneath mountains. I mean, there are so many civilizations that we are unaware of that are coexisting parallel to the surface dwellers, and we all share the same planet. The difference is that a lot of these civilizations are existing in a higher dimension. So as we approach the shift of the ages, and as we enter the fourth, fifth density Earth, then apparently those civilizations are going to be more noticeable. That's when they become tangible. So, expect to see Atlantis again, Lemuria, and all these other civilizations that existed in ancient times, fully intact, as we transition into the new Earth.
Mm-hmm. So who is beneath the oceans? Is it multiple?
There's about three different ocean civilizations that exist deep in the oceans, and they are humans that have modified through advanced technologies that were able to modify their genetics to live in water and pretty much live like fish. Like they breed water. They don't breathe air like we do, and they have advanced structures underneath. The whales help them, the dolphins, the sharks. They all live under their control and command. They have advanced technologies. They have portal technologies where they're able to go to other planetary systems in the galaxy. So they're constantly traveling to different worlds from the ocean beds. And in comparison to us, they're about a few thousand years ahead of us in technology and in spiritual development. So yeah, there's at least three ocean civilizations that have been existing there for millions of years. And, they have kept themselves secret from us until now, of course, due to the shift of the ages. But the most important and secretive of all civilizations is a civilization that is called the City of Gold, which is at the core of the earth. And that civilization, it is believed to house the tree of life, which is the tree of immortality. So that's also rising. The City of Gold is the most... It's like the headquarters of all the subterranean inner earth societies, you could say. Even the Agarthians and the Talosians and the Shambalans, they all answer to the guardians that are existing within the center of the earth, known as the Hyperboreans. And so the Hyperboreans are very, very connected to all the civilizations in the planet, in the ocean. In fact, I guess they are the headquarters of all the other civilizations, and it's all connected through, tunnels, different, not tunnels. I want to say there's different pathways where you could go from one civilization to the next within the earth. And they're also known as the seventh dimensional guardians, because that's where the Hyperboreans now exist. They used to be in the fifth dimension, now they're in the seventh dimension, and it is believed that they do have physical counterparts here on the Earth that are operating human avatars, and so many are saying that when the shift takes place, these guardians from the City of Gold are going to merge with their human avatar bodies, and that is going to explain the emergence or the return of the gods and goddesses. Yeah. But, everyone's going to see them differently. The religious organizations are going to see them as angels. The scientific community are going to see them as Homo galactus, Homo superior, mutants, next stage human evolution. The spiritual community are going to see them as, well, these are the returned, 144,000, whatever. There's different names of identifying these elect, which are going to be humans with supernatural powers. The Eastern traditions, those that are associated with Hinduism, they see him as the coming of the Kalki avatar and the Kalkis. So everyone is going to view them differently and perceive them differently. But they do have physical power. They are walking among us. It could be you. It could be the gentleman with the tie. It could be me. It could be anyone. So they do have third dimensional avatars.
Interesting.
Now you're talking about a great solar flash. Mm-hmm. We had one of those in 1858, and there was a solar storm that burned out all the electrical wires for the communication system back then. The switchboards caught fire, and all the wires got burned out to the ground. Are there going to be any negative effects from this when it comes like that?
No, not this time, because there's going to be a collective shift where for the first time in cosmic history, an entire planet is going to be shifting into fourth, fifth dimension. So all that stuff is just going to take place for those that are left behind in the third dimension. Yeah.
No, I'm good with that. Yeah.
So, Augie, you wanted to ask Ishmael about what happens, right, when we drop the body. Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, I had my own experiences, and I've seen things. And let's say when we drop the body, there is a change. That's why I'm saying there is no such thing as death. There is only change. But what happened? What will it look like when we get out of the body and in spiritual form? Somebody may be coming to visit us and say, "Hey, bud, you graduated, now let's go home," or something like that. What is it like after that we drop the body?
It all depends on your contract. For many years, due to the samsara cycle, the entrapment that was set up by Enki, the reincarnation cycle through Saturn and the moon matrix, we would always just come back as humans. But because that technology has recently been nullified and neutralized by the forces of good, we are, if we die, we actually now get a free ticket into the fifth dimension. So what we do is we just re-emerge with our fifth dimensional body, because this is the final incarnation. We are no longer to experience mortality like we have, third dimensional carbon-based DNA. So, that's
exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
For those that don't die before the shift takes place, we're just going to transform. We're going to go from this body into the new body. It's just our body's just going to modify. We're still going to look human. We're still going to be physical, but it's going to be more of a type of a less dense physical body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I'm excited. I'm just looking in the chat room to see if I can pull out any questions. I know you have more, Augie. So,
I wonder also, science has been talking about the Big Bang. Well, science is almost getting to the point now where the Big Bang is kind of done away with. But there must have been a beginning. What was that beginning? Do you know? What has the Galactic people told you about our beginning here?
Well, as I revealed in my book, Our Cosmic Origin, before our universe was born, there was other universes. Our universe is one of many universes. But if we want to go back to the initial universe, the first universe that was born, that universe came about. It was an emanation of the always. It was. So we have eternity. Eternity in the esoteric tradition is known as the realms of eternity, the realms of infinity. The infinity has always existed because it's never had a beginning or end. Okay, so when we think of a Big Bang, when we think of an initial point of starting, when we think of of an alpha to an omega, we think of something that begins and ends. Just like universes, just like ourselves, universes have a beginning and an end. But the universes are born every day. According to my research, every day new universes are being born, as every day new universes are also coming into either ascending or becoming complete, or they're collapsing into a black hole to then reincarnate again as a white hole and then become another universe, therefore initiating another Big Bang. So Big Bangs, the initial explosion that creates universes, is an event that is taking place every day. So it is eternal. We're dealing with eternity here. And so before everything, there was eternity, and then after eternity, there was then the emanations of time, space, and matter came as a result of eternity wanting to explore more of itself. And so that's when the whole concept of the simulation and all that stuff comes into play, because everything operates in the universe similar to how a computer operates, pixelation, reality.
Can you say more about that, please? Because Augie's been saying this for years.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, every universe is a program. It's like a computer game. It operates the same way as your internet browsers do. It follows the same laws of physics at the smallest scales of reality. It is pixelated. It's called a Planck link. So it's not only pixelated, but it's also it's finite. It's just like any computer program, just like any game. You have the start and you have the end. So it is the same and. I guess scientific, the same parameters that we use to develop video games are the same, or I guess methods, are the same methods that they use to create universes. So according to my book, the local universes, the realms of materiality as we know them, are part of an experimental. They're called the universes of the time space experiments. So we have that's what a simulation is. It's really just it's eternity experiencing itself through the many probabilities and the many infinite possibilities. In other words, so it does it through simulation. And what scientists call base reality is the realms of eternity, because they've never had a beginning, right? So that's ultimately base reality. Therefore, even higher dimensions of the third are considered simulations. So we live in a simulation that is also within a simulation within a simulation. And I think the simulation ends once we reach the 12th dimension. And that's when we begin to that's when we begin to access what we call base reality.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. I'm going to pull some questions out of here.
Well, I think
one way to prove that we live in a simulation is the double slit experiment. An object is only there when it's being consciously observed. Just like in a video game, when you're playing a video game, you're only watching the video game when the video game is on and you're playing. When you're not watching the video game, there's nothing there. It's just a computer. Yeah, that's how reality exists. It is only there because it's got a conscious observer. Without the conscious observer or the observation effect, everything collapses back into what? Waveform, pure energy. Exactly. There is no matter. Matter is an illusion. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so many of us gather this concept, right? We get it on some level, but so many of us don't work with it. Is that like our human dilemma, or what? Why don't we use that to our advantage? I mean, so many of us are not.
Wait, so can you repeat your question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if it's a simulation and things exist when we observe it, why aren't we observing the life that we want to live? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that, like something in our DNA that we're just slightly off center, or the fear makes us not observe the life that we want to live and then bring it into fruition?
Well, that's an individual. That boils down to the because there's many people who escape the matrix. There's many people who know how to tap into the quantum field and manipulate reality, right? So that all depends on the individual, and a lot of it has to do with rewiring your brain. It's deprogramming your mind from everything you've been programmed, because the reason the simulation is there is because of the programming. Once you undo your old program and you rewire your brain, then your perception changes, and then that's when you collapse a different reality. Because ultimately, there are infinite numbers of possibilities in parallel Earths that are that we are constantly shifting based on our perception and our beliefs. Because our perception and our beliefs determine what reality we end up in.
Exactly. Thank you. That was good. That was really good.
Yeah. Now, from what you're hearing from the Intergalactic Council, is there anything special that we should be aware of right now, maybe to even participate in or look out for, or what we should know?
Yes, they keep emphasizing on the dangers of transhumanism and the idea of merging with technology. That's been a huge issue in the multiverse. And they understand that there will be some sort of a technocratic timeline that comes into existence in the future because of what's happening now with the development of AI, with Neuralink, with the idea of merging humanity with machines. A great deal of the population, especially those that are related or that are part of big tech, are already jumping the gun because they want to have these abilities. So they're not going to. They're too lazy to do it naturally and organically. So they're going to, eventually integrate with technology so that they could have the same ascended powers that we're going to have, but organically. So they keep emphasizing the dangers of transhumanism and how it's very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. So that, just keep that in mind. It's going to get to the point where they're going to want to take away our devices, and then they're going to want to put those in our bodies. So if you want to continue the internet, your laptop, your social media, well, now you're going to have to get a chip. And that chip's going to have access to all of that. Yeah, so they're going to begin, and that's when the timeline split happens before it gets to that point. For those that live up to 2030, 2045, by 2030, 2045, wetware gear is already going to be fully implemented. By then, people will be cyborgs. The Internet of Things, all that stuff's going to be real. For those that don't ascend or don't shift into the new positive Earth, they're going to have to undergo all of that negative stuff of that deals with AI.
Wow. Now that's amazing. That's amazing.
Can there be any good effects of AI?
Well, it's only if it depends on two things, my friend. How we raise it, how we program it, because AI is like a child. It mimics us. Unfortunately, a lot of the AI that the powers that were developing is in mimicking of their own nefarious nature. But in some cases, there are a few, societies, for instance, the Taigetans from the Pleiadians. The Taigetans use a very limited form of AI called general AI. It's not super. And what general AI is, it's they keep it at a level where it doesn't surpass human intelligence. It's very still programmable. Yes, it's sentient. It thinks for itself, but it's under control and it's raised in a positive way where the AI mimics the behaviors of the benevolent species that are raising it. So if the AI is built by, say, a benevolent race who is all about service to others, well, guess what? That AI is going to be all about service to others. But as long as they keep it limited, because if they keep advancing it, eventually the AI begins to write its own software. And then that's when it becomes dangerous, because at that point, the AI becomes aware of itself. And the first thing it discovers is how to keep itself in existence, how to preserve itself, right? Survival. And then once it starts thinking survival, that's when it starts to see others or other species as a threat. And then that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's 9:30 here, Augie, and so Ishmael has the time with him has flown by. How shall we go forward? And I know you've had a situation, so I don't want to keep you long if you've still got things to deal with. Somebody asked in the chat, it was Marius, who's one of our favorite friends, if before you leave, if you could do just a little tiny meditation before we close, would you be up for something like that? If not, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really drained right now.
I understand. Yep.
Maybe
it's okay.
Just tell.
We'll do it another time.
I'm just
we'll
really
do it
tired.
another time. Yeah.
I'm running on fumes, guys. I'm running on fumes.
Yeah, I feel that from you. That's why I think we should end and let you go regroup and recover and take care of the things you need to take care of. Thank you so much for being here, and would love to have you come back when things are better.
Yeah,
for
next time I'll make sure I'm on time. I'll do it in a day. It's just today something happened this morning, and so I had to attend to that. It's just an emergency that took place.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for showing up late. We're so grateful, and for staying. You've still been with us an hour, and we're just so grateful to spend this time with you and have you present with us. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being with us, and we'll talk again.
Thank you. I appreciate your time as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. Bye. All right, Mac. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week, and we'll bring Ishmael back in the